welcome to Strength at Length. I'm your host, Nick McQuik, and I'm here with Jeff Garossino of GK Performance. Today, we're going to be talking about some supplements. First up, we have creatine. A lot of you guys can see this at many stores around, even some gyms. But a lot of people don't really understand what you should take creatine for. Jeff, what do you supplement creatine into your diet for?
So creatine is mainly it's an energy substrate essentially. So you have a lot of people know about aerobic energy system and anaerobic. Well, before anaerobic, even a shorter term energy system is creatine phosphate. So supplementing creatine is going to help with things like sprinting, jumping, 1 rep max on squats, deadlifts, anything like that. Anything that is a short burst, explosive type movement, creatine is actually an energy substrate for.
See, now for me, I always thought creatine was for recovery.
It can help with recovery, but its main use, creatine actually, there's a lot of research into creatine for like Parkinson's disease and bipolar depression. Creatine does a lot of things, but kind of the main thing that if you're lifting weights you want to take it for is being able to get more reps, more power in the gym.
So with that being said, is there a saturation point of creatine? Is there there's the average dose of, I believe, 5 grams a day is recommended. If you were to exceed that, who would you recommend exceeds that?
Well, okay, so with creatine, there is a saturation point, and the 5 grams a day, you can just take that and you will be saturated. Most of the research shows within 2 to 3 weeks. Or what you'll see on all the labels, they tell you to take a loading phase for the first week of usually 20 grams a day. So if you take 20 grams a day, you will typically be saturated within 5 to 6 days. So long term, the whole loading phase does not make a whole lot of difference, but short term, it'll get you saturated essentially a week to 2 weeks faster.
Okay, and then for any athlete that's taking this, is there any sort of negative effects they might find?
No. Really, the only thing that anybody's ever found with creatine as far as a negative side effect is that if you do a heavy loading phase and you don't tend to drink enough water, creatine actually pulls water into muscle cells. So what can happen sometimes is essentially your intestines can get a little bit dehydrated, and you'll get people that say they get cramping or a little bit nauseous with it. But it's not the creatine doing any harm, it's just you need to drink more water to stay hydrated.
But those are usually in like an athlete or performance individual for dehydration like that. You don't find people that are intentionally trying to dehydrate unless they're like a bodybuilder or a physique or bikini model. And at which point then, if they're prepping for stage or anything and they're messing around with their sodium and water levels, when should they start restricting creatine?
Well, oddly enough, a lot of guys will take the creatine out kind of the week of prep in order to not have the, watery type look to it. But because it's saturated, you don't get saturated in, day. You're not going to unsaturate in a day either. Yeah. So realistically, pulling creatine out of your diet in competition prep is not going to do a whole lot. And that being said, it's the actual muscle fiber that tends to swell with water, and not like when guys are trying to cut water, they're trying to get subcutaneous water out, everything underneath the skin. With the water that pulls in with creatine is in the actual muscle fiber, so you're not going to notice a whole lot of difference if you take it out.
Yeah, trying to pull water out of the fat rather than the muscle is basically impossible. That's like trying to lose weight in one arm and not the other.
Exactly.
You're not going to find that.
Yeah.
So for somebody that isn't working out, we were talking, you brought up a little earlier, some of the health benefits of creatine for Parkinson's and for other things like that. Is there any sort of average Joe that's walking around? Is there any sort of thing that they could introduce this into their life to help with?
Yeah, there's a lot of research. Creatine is one of the most heavily researched supplements out there right now. And it has been for a long time.
It's been around forever.
It has, yeah. This is an old school type supplement. And it's just straight monohydrate that all the research is really done on. There's some other fancy stuff out there, but good old monohydrate's what they like to look at. And yeah, there's actually a lot of research going into cognitive function and stuff like that, and just helping with your brain, helping with aging and things like that. So there's really, everybody can take creatine, and it's going to help you essentially in life.
Yeah, it's
Just a good supplement.
I mean, it is a supplement. It's not the holy grail or
No.
anything. It's not going to solve all your problems.
No, and it's not steroids. You're not going to take it and just turn into Superman overnight.
Yeah,
But
I don't think it actually
good.
affects your hormone profile at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so it's across the board. It's something that I'd recommend that people try and introduce into their life. However, just some guy on the streets, just introducing this into his life, doesn't really go to the gym very much. How, like, would you recommend a loading phase then?
In all honesty, I wouldn't really recommend anybody do a loading phase.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, within 3 weeks, you're at the same point. Once you're saturated, you're saturated. And I doubt you're in that big of a hurry to be saturated with creatine. So there's not a whole lot of need. If you want to do it, you can. You're going to burn through your creatine quite a bit faster, though.
So there'd be 5 grams of creatine. You take that daily for about 3 weeks
Yep.
to see if you have any sort of difference in your day-to-day. When about do people take it? Because that's something that's even, like, I don't really know. I just take it with my coffee in the morning.
That's honestly, it's fine. A lot of people say that you need to take it pre-workout. Some guys say post-workout with carbohydrates and things like that to pull it into the muscle cell. Some research has shown there may be some benefit to pre-workout. Some shows maybe post-workout. But the majority of it is once you're saturated, you're saturated. It's not like caffeine or something where you take it and the effect is gone within 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
So once you're saturated with creatine, it's there. You can honestly take it whenever you want.
So with creatine, there's no tolerance that you build up. You don't have to increase. And
No.
Is there any benefit of cycling on and cycling on off of it?
Some guys say yes, but that's more of like a quote-unquote bro science kind of thing. Some guys like to cycle off and cycle on it, but as far as any research shows, I think they've done studies up to a full year of people taking it every day, and there's no negative side effects. There's no reason to stop taking it and start taking it again, scientifically at least. So.
And for creatine, there's always like a bunch of different things. When you walk into a nutrition store, a supplement store, it's overwhelming the amount of things that you see. So there's always like, this contains creatine and it's flavored, or there's just simple monohydrate things. If like somebody like me, I take creatine daily, and it's unflavored. It's just like sand in water, basically.
Pretty much.
For some people, I know that they would prefer it in some other form. Is there any detriment to like taking a flavored supplement or anything like that?
No, I mean, some people, aren't a big fan of artificial sweeteners and the different kind of food coloring and dyes that they use and stuff like that. So if you're looking at that side of it, then I suppose maybe. But as far as the actual benefits of the creatine, it's not going to change if you take a flavored or even if you mix it in with your protein shake after your workout, or mix it in with your juice, whatever you want to do with it to make it, a little bit more palatable.
I always find like you get the most bang for your buck in a supplement store if you just buy the creatine and then throw in whatever flavors you need afterwards. I mean, some artificial sweeteners and everything, they have some insulin responders, and
there's some different stuff.
That is a whole other episode.
It's
a whole other. But that brings us to our second product we're going to be talking about. We have some glutamine here.
Okay.
Now, glutamine is something that I've recently started taking, and it's L-glutamine. I'm not incredibly knowledgeable in this. Is there other types of glutamine?
There is like glutamine peptides, and you see a few different things out there, but most of it is just standard L-glutamine. You can get into like fermented L-glutamine. In all honesty, I don't even really know what that is.
Yeah, but for L-glutamine, with this, it's once again 5 grams recommended daily dose.
Yep.
Is there any sort of, should you take it at a certain point in your day?
No, not when it comes to glutamine. That's just take it whenever you want.
Okay. And if somebody's taking it, athlete, non-athlete, wherever they're at in their life, what is the benefit of this?
So glutamine, a lot of people say that it helps with muscle soreness and things like that. There's not a ton of research to back that up, and I know when I've taken it, I've actually taken up to 80 grams a day, and I was just as sore as always. It was just to see how it worked. So some people do notice the difference, and if you do, that's great. But realistically, it's just one of those supplements that you're going to take daily. You're just straight 5 grams.
With this, I noticed they when they tested for placebo, the pain relief just wasn't noticeable at all anymore.
Exactly.
Because people were taking it. And I mean, that's one of those things where you could just take snake oil, and if you believe hard enough,
it'll work,
Yeah. But so if it's not for reducing pain, then what? And of course I already know the answer to the question, but what should people be taking this for?
The main reason that you're going to want to take out glutamine is it's really good for your digestive tract. What happens, especially people that are like gluten intolerant and different kinds of things like that, or just drink a lot of beer, smoke cigarettes, have a terrible diet, actually holes start to form in your small intestine. They call it leaky gut syndrome, and it's
I've
not,
read up on it.
yeah, it's a big problem. L-glutamine is actually the most abundant amino acid in your body, and it is a lot of it in the small intestine, so it will actually repair those holes. The other thing it's good for is your immune system. It's, again, because it's the most abundant amino acid in your body, it's going to help with a lot of things, but immune system and gut health are huge.
The thing that I noticed with it is, because I have some gut issues myself, is by taking it daily, I've actually increased my appetite, like, substantially. I noticed that I'm hungrier now.
Yeah, that could be possible. Just that if you're digesting food a little bit better and things are running smoothly. I mean, if you look at somebody with poor gut health, say they're lactose intolerant and they don't know it yet.
Yeah.
If you drink a glass of milk and you get bloated and you don't feel good, you're probably not going to be that hungry, right? So if you do start repairing gut health, then you can notice an increase in appetite for sure.
Now, this is something that when I started exercising and working out, it was recommended that I mix it with my protein shake because they said it would help me absorb protein better. Is there any truth to this?
Not that I've ever come across, no. There's nothing wrong with mixing with your protein shake.
Because once again, just unflavored.
Exactly, yeah. It kind of tastes like baking soda.
Yeah.
There is some research that shows that it actually removes ammonia from the blood. So taking it during your workout, there can be some benefit to that. Again, are you going to notice it? I'm not so sure about that. But as far as it helping with digestion of protein, not that I've come across.
The only thing that I noticed from taking it while I was working out is that I seem to find my second wind in the gym a little faster.
Well, and that's possible because that ammonia is being built up from training and it's just metabolites that occur naturally. If those are being removed, then yeah, you should theoretically, you're going to have energy a little bit longer and you're going to be able to last.
So now one thing with this, it is a supplement, of course, something you're supposed to supplement your diet with, and it is, as you were saying, an amino acid. Like, where would somebody find this?
In meat mostly. Chicken, fish, beef, all meat has glutamine.
So this could be a good thing for somebody on like a vegetarian or vegan diet?
Definitely. Same with the creatine as well. They're both found in meat mostly. Glutamine, I do think, is also found in some vegetables, cabbage, I want to say, and some things like that, but not very strong concentration.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get a lot more. A bucket of it. Than
Yeah,
you are a
absolutely.
Bucket of, like, I mean, something like this. What are we dealing with here? 1,100 grams. That's probably like a whole table of cabbage.
Yeah,
right?
It's gonna be a lot of cabbage.
Yeah, exactly, and that'll lead for quite the lifestyle right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So if somebody could only pick between one of the two of these, what would you say would impact their life more positively for an athlete or just a desk job sort of guy?
That one's definitely a tough question, just for the fact that, I mean, if you have leaky gut issues or anything like that, then the glutamine is going to be your best bet. If you don't have something like that, and especially if you're an athlete, I would probably say go with the creatine, especially if you're something like a power lifter, a sprinter, or something like that. If you're just your average guy at the desk, you might want to take the glutamine, because those guys tend to not have the healthiest guts. Sitting at a desk all day usually leads to not a lot of exercise and not the greatest diet, which is not good for your digestive tract. So it kind of depends on the person, but yeah, you'd always want to get checked. How is your digestive tract, right? Those are things you want to look into first.
And how is some way that somebody could find out, other than trying the supplements, that it would be beneficial for them?
I mean, it will be beneficial. Creatine and glutamine, they're good for everybody. Again, will you notice a difference? Some people are going to notice a difference. Some people aren't going to notice it. But it's the same with taking a protein shake. You don't take it and then feel like the Incredible Hulk.
You don't suddenly your biceps get 2 inches bigger.
Exactly, but it's still working. It's still doing its job. It's protein, right?
So with the creatine, it was you reach a saturation point after 3 weeks of constant supplementation of it.
Roughly, yep.
With the glutamine, about how quick is there a point of saturation?
No, there is no saturation point because we're full of glutamine. So there is you can't be saturated with it or anything like that.
And that being said, we're full of glutamine, the recommended dose is for 5 grams. Would somebody's body weight or size influence that?
I would assume to some degree, but I've never come across anybody really talk about it or look into it very much.
300-pound person needs 2 scoops or something.
It's not going to hurt you to take more. Like I said, I've taken up to 80 grams a day to help with some gut health issues.
Yeah.
There's no negative side effects to it that I've ever come across.
Yeah, there's no overdosing on really either of these things.
No, there isn't.
With the creatine, the only way that there is a side effect that's negative is if you're near dehydration. I think with any supplement, if you're near dehydration, you're going to see a negative effect.
Exactly.
I mean, it is a powder, so when you put it in, you're going to need water.
Absolutely, yeah.
Saliva.
Yeah, and dehydration itself has its own issues, so that's just something you got to keep up on, anyways.
Yeah, that is. That's a whole other episode of how much people should drink and where they should be getting their sources from. So with these 2 supplements, basically across the board, beneficial for everybody, whether or not they're working. They are a supplement.
Yes.
And they can make up for holes in somebody's diet. That's something that I kind of want to really bring across to somebody. What if you were to say one other thing that most people in their diet are missing? What would that be?
As far as missing in their diet, one.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot.
A lot.
In my opinion, most people don't get enough protein. It's one of those things where people in the gym usually get too much. People outside of the gym usually don't get enough.
Now, the bro science with that, I believe, I've heard anywhere from 1 gram per body weight or per pound, and I've heard up to 3 grams per pound.
I've heard an even bigger range. There's some people that say less than even 1 gram per kilogram of body weight is sufficient, which is not a lot of protein. The thing with protein, though, is some people are a little bit afraid that it's going to damage their kidneys. The amount of protein you have to take to damage your kidneys is insane.
You would have to take probably 0.5 kilogram a day.
Yeah, it would be bad. That being said, though, like I tend to just stick with the 1 gram per pound of body weight.
Yeah.
If you're really overweight, that can change. If you're 400 pounds, then you don't need 400 grams of protein.
And one thing I'd like to stress with that too, with all of these supplements and with protein itself, is everybody's going to be different.
Absolutely.
And the best way for them to identify anything there is to just look at where they're going with it. And just, for me, I track my macros, my calories, my workouts, everything. If you keep track of where you've been, you have a better idea of where you should go.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. And you don't know if you're trying to make improvements and you just start putting something in and seeing how you feel. Well, if you don't track what you've changed in your diet, how are you going to know what helped you feel better, right?
Exactly.
You got to play with things, you got to add things, take them out, and then see how you feel. Track it for a month, right?
That's the advantage of something like an elimination diet.
Yes, absolutely.
Where you just take it out and reintegrate it and see how you feel. And once again, that is something that works for anybody across the board, because everybody's different.
Yeah, exactly.
So some people think that they cut out gluten and they're going to lose weight, or they cut out this, and it's not the same for everybody.
It totally depends, and it's something that you just have to play with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And both of these supplements are like very plentiful. You can get them at grocery stores, wellness stores, health food stores.
Absolutely.
There's just one thing I want to do to end the show here. To the audience, it was your 25th birthday yesterday, so I got you a birthday cake protein cookie.
Perfect meathead gift.
Perfect. Okay, well, if you guys like the video, there's a thumbs up button. You should hit that. If you have any questions that you want us to address in future episodes, there's the comments section. And make sure you turn on live notifications so that you guys know when we come on, and you can join in the conversation. Anyway, I've been Nick McQuik.
Thanks, guys. I'm Jeff Garossino.
See you later.
Have a good one.